The little girl is the youngest inmate in the prison because her pregnant mother was falsely accused of murder and sent to prison. So the little girl grew up in that prison from the moment she was born. Today is the day the little girl is released from prison. Before parting, the woman advised her daughter that once she got out, she must first find her father, because her father is her only family on the outside, so that she could find a way to live with her father. The little girl, holding a photo that her mother had given her, arrived in front of a building. She discovered that the CEO being interviewed in the crowd was identical to the person in the photo. This made her realize that the CEO was very likely her father. Thinking this, the little girl hurried forward to identify herself to the CEO. When he heard the little girl call him daddy, the CEO immediately explained that he was not married and did not have a daughter. The little girl insisted that she was not mistaken, because her mother had said that the person identical to the one in the photo was her father. Saying this, she handed the photo to the CEO. After looking at it, the CEO discovered that the photo was the one he had posted on the school's honor board 6 years ago. He mistakenly assumed that the little girl's mother wanted to get close to him. He deliberately tore the photo down in order to allow the little girl to defame him. Therefore, he demanded that the little girl leave immediately. To prove that the CEO was indeed her father, she pulled out a strand of hair and handed it to the CEO. She said that if the CEO didn't believe her, he could go to the hospital and do a paternity test. The CEO had no intention of paying any attention to the little girl. He left without even turning his head. Watching the CEO leave, the little girl felt very sad. Out of curiosity, the CEO's cousin picked up the strand of hair from the little girl's hand, and he warned the little girl that if the DNA test report were to come out, confirming that she was not the CEO's daughter, she would be punished. Upon hearing this, the little girl was not worried at all, because she believed that her mother would never deceive her. Then she went to the prison to see her mother, and she told her mother that her father not only failed to recognize her, he even called her a liar. She asked her mother if her father didn't like her. The woman immediately told her daughter that her father simply did not know her true identity, that once everything was clarified, he would surely recognize her. By then, her father would be the person who loved her most in the world. The little girl planned to ask her father to help get her mother out of prison after they recognized each other. The woman anxiously urged her daughter not to mention her in front of her father, because she was worried that the man would transfer his hatred for her onto his daughter. It turns out that the woman was originally the heiress of the richest family. Back then, she and the man were a loving couple. With the sudden death of the woman's father, the woman's life took a dramatic turn, all because her uncle coveted the family's inheritance. In order to force the woman to hand over the safe's key, using her boyfriend as leverage, the woman did not want her boyfriend to get involved, so she deliberately knocked over the bento her boyfriend had prepared for her, and broke up with him on the pretext that he was too poor. Then she got into a car with a wealthy second generation. The man resented the woman for abandoning him, believing that she was a gold digger. From then on, he turned his hatred into motivation, and after graduation, he worked hard to become the new richest man. However, despite his net worth of billions, he had no children. Suddenly, his cousin ran over holding a DNA paternity test report, saying that the little girl was indeed the CEO's daughter. They immediately went to pick up the little girl and bring her home. Little did they know that the little girl had just come home. The woman's uncle and her cousin also arrived. They forced the little girl to surrender the key to the safe. The little girl recalled her mother's admonition. She falsely claimed that she did not know where the key was. They had no choice but to search the house. However, despite searching everywhere, they could not find it. The cousin, in anger, knocked over the little girl's mother's photo, and she discovered that the key was hidden in the picture frame. The little girl hurriedly picked it up. The uncle stated that he had kept the little girl alive all along in order to find the key, and now, the little girl no longer held any value to them. Just as the uncle was about to kill the little girl, the CEO's family happened to arrive just in time to stop him. The little girl found her father, the CEO. She originally wanted her father to save her mother. When she noticed that her father seemed to hate her mother, the little girl temporarily abandoned that idea. That day, she went to the prison to deliver a meal to her mother. Unexpectedly, as soon as the prison guard took the meal box, the CEO suddenly appeared in front of them, and he curiously asked his daughter what she was doing here. In order to hide the fact that her mother was in prison, the little girl falsely claimed that the prison guard auntie was her mother's friend, because auntie often took care of her. Therefore, this meal was brought by her for auntie to eat. The prison guard understood that the little girl did not want to reveal the truth, so he helped conceal the fact that the woman was in jail. However, the CEO developed an even deeper hatred for the woman. He believed that the woman had abandoned him in the first place, and now she was entrusting their daughter to someone else for care. He felt that the woman did not deserve to be a proper mother. Little did he know that the woman went to jail to protect him. They were once a pair of sweet lovers. Her uncle, to force her to hand over the safe key, used her boyfriend's life as leverage. She had no choice but to end the relationship. This made the CEO mistakenly believe that the woman had betrayed their love. This hatred has continued to this day. Therefore, he vowed never to forgive the woman. To save her mother as quickly as possible, the little girl, taking advantage of her father's good mood, not only gave him a cake, but also massaged him. Her goal was to have her father listen to her recount her mother's story. However, the CEO thought that it was the woman who had sent her daughter. Even though the daughter explained that her mother treated her very well, the CEO still did not believe her. He stated that his daughter did not need to use cake and massages to curry favor with him. He felt that the woman had raised her daughter without any backbone. Therefore, he believed that the woman did not deserve to be her mother. The daughter angrily declared that he must not speak of her mother like that. Otherwise, she would refuse to acknowledge him as her father. Upon hearing that, the CEO immediately became angry. He asked his daughter where her mother was now, and ordered his brother to immediately take his daughter away. When he heard his daughter say that her mother was in prison, the CEO was instantly shocked. Thus, he finally agreed to listen to the story about the woman. Turns out, after that woman broke up with him back then, she was framed by her uncle and sent to prison for murder. Later, she gave birth to their daughter in prison, so she was given the opportunity to serve her sentence outside prison. Meanwhile, her uncle, in order to earn the trust of the company's shareholders, had to obtain the core technology from the company's safe. However, the safe key was in the woman's possession. She knew that as long as her uncle could not find the key, he would not hurt her or her daughter. At the end of her sentence outside prison, she handed the key over to her daughter for safekeeping, and she urged her daughter to find her father. After hearing her daughter recount the story about the woman, the CEO learns that the woman was wrongly accused. Therefore, he immediately started gathering evidence to exonerate the woman. Meanwhile, the uncle, upon learning that the woman had been exonerated and released, was incensed. After all, he still had not earned the trust of the company's board members. If the woman were to be released now, it would undoubtedly undermine his grip on the company. So he decided to strike against the woman once more. On the day the woman was released from prison, she felt the warmth of the sunlight and found it very comforting. When she looked up, she happened to see the man she once loved appear before her. She was extremely excited at that moment. However, the CEO's first words were, "Leave me, you're nothing but a pig dog." Upon hearing this, the woman realized that the CEO still harbored hatred for her.